Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Roca Pizzeria on Government Street in Mid-City. Welcome to the Wednesday edition Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. Randy McKay with us today. Scott Rabelais with us today. Wes Reynolds with us.
We got to talk to him again.
Captain India. He was, they brought out at Assembly Hall last night. They brought out the national championship trophy. Did you see what Signetti said?
No, I didn't.
One of the assistants.
I watched the game.
I don't know if it was one of the
assistants.
Okay, well, I saw this on SportsCenter. One of the Indiana either assistants or staffers or whatever had the old Oaken bucket, right, that they get for their win against Purdue.
They had squeaked by this year.
Yeah. So Signetti's got the national championship trophy, and this staffer's got the bucket, which is it's a big deal up there. I know a little bit about this from Gordy. The old Oaken bucket, that's in their rivalry trophy. I mean, a lot of years where Indiana didn't do anything, but they beat Purdue okay. And Signetti looks at the staff. He goes, "Leave that bucket here. We got the national championship trophy. That's all we need to bring." I said, "Okay,
that's okay.
Yeah,
all right." I was hoping. I mean,
it wasn't anything bad. It was just like, hey, we have graduated from the bucket.
We have graduated.
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
I thought that was kind of funny. If you were watching college basketball last night, you were entertained, or should have been.
Not bad, huh?
It was a great night of comebacks. Michigan and Nebraska, which was the headliner, top 5 teams. Nebraska led this thing most of the way, got cold at the end. Michigan trailed by 11. They won. Michigan State, top 10 team at Rutgers, who was 2-7 in Big Ten play. Michigan State trailed by 12, won the game in overtime. Arkansas at a desperate Oklahoma team, down 4 at the half, trailed by as many as 13. They end up winning, drops Oklahoma to 1-7 in the league. Virginia ranked 17th in the country at what was 2-5 Notre Dame in league play. They were down by 19, came back and won that game in double overtime. Even my St. Louis Billikens, who I'm starting to watch here a little bit because I like the coach, were down 15 to a mediocre George Washington team and came back and won that game by 3. So you had your choice of a lot of things. There were some routes.
Add one?
There were some routes.
One?
Oh, yeah, please. What did I miss?
You're screaming at the raindrops guy? He's going to help Bama.
Oh, yeah.
He's pretty good.
No,
sometimes they get these guys and they ain't worth they go through all this trouble and they ain't worth a crap.
They put him in the starting lineup last night.
I mean,
he's what are you?
14
14-6,
blowing out Missouri. Okay, I understand, but he's a big guy that's advanced. He's got some skills. I mean, I'm just saying.
What's the key word these days? Age.
AGE. AGE.
College sports, he's an older cat.
It reminds me of another 3-letter acronym that I'm reminded of a lot. I'm about 40% through on it. What scholarship your son on? The DAD.
DAD. Yeah.
It's okay. He does well in school.
That's good.
We
good.
move on. I'm sorry.
Good for him. No.
Yeah,
Alabama with a big
bitter
win.
party of one. You got is that what you?
Yeah, bitter party of one. Your table is ready.
Yes.
Vandy blew Kentucky out of Nashville.
Got that one?
Wire to wire.
Got that one, Charlie.
25 points.
I thought the 5-game winning streak was a little bit of fraudulent, a little bit smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Example A, right down the street.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, they should have lost that game. And Indiana did win that game against Purdue, a ranked Purdue team last night. So give me your
impressive, and not just me, but I was impressed. It's going to be really close, by the way. These individual, statistical landmarks and stuff, but it's going to be really close. But the little point guard is probably going to break Bobby Hurley's all-time assist. It's going to be really close. He's averaging 9 a game. He's like 100. So 15 games left. How many games left they got this season? About 10 or
11. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe 2 or 3 in the tournament, the conference tournament, 2 or 3 more. He's going to break it right at 15 games. It's going to be close. Kind of fun. Just saying.
Braden Smith is
all at one school.
Now that's unique these days. How about that? That's not common at all anymore. I spent most of my night focused in on Nebraska and Michigan.
Good for you, because that was the yes.
And Nebraska led this thing for 90% of the night, and I thought they did everything you need to do to win a game on the road. They kept the turnovers to at least a reasonable number. Michigan was better on the glass, but they shot the ball well enough. I thought they were organized. I thought they played hard. Didn't think they were intimidated. What I always worry about in games like that is you go out there at the very beginning of the game and the crowd's pumped up. They know you got a good opponent coming in. I used to think that about those old LSU Kentucky games, like just survive the first 5 minutes. Well, Nebraska was fine. I mean, they get to the first TV timeout, and a lot of times you can find yourself on the road. You can find yourself in a 6-8, even a 10-point hole.
Can I jump into your first helping?
Well, I'm almost done.
Okay.
They're ahead at the first TV timeout, so they were not intimidated. It's not like they played a gazillion games like this in the program history or even this year. I thought they were incredibly poised. Especially at the beginning.
Well, the big storyline was not just that they're going on the road again, and it's their toughest game. They're undefeated at 20-0, and they're double-digit underdogs. But they're one of their best players, Rink Maas, the 6'10" senior from the Netherlands. Well, what about him?
He's out.
Right, well, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it was a very big deal.
I mean, you're 6'10", senior forward. He's second in scoring, leader in rebounding. One of your leaders in field goal percentage goes out and knocks him. He gets the flu. I mean, and so what do we know about Dusty May's roster every year?
It's big.
It's big. So now you're going really, really small. So I think that had something to do. I think in the long haul, it hurt Nebraska, but in the short haul, Charlie, this was a story of two halves. I mean, this was the first half was 50-48. You scored 98 points in the first half. You scored 49 combined in the second half. So it took some adjustments and you watch Hoiberg's kid play. Doesn't he look like a little wrestler out there running around?
A little bit, yeah.
Because he's got like the tight, he's got no undershirt. It looks like a wrestling uniform. But, man, is he smart. I mean, and
Coach's son.
Nebraska I think the small lineup kind of through the ball movement. Don't give them an open look. They are really good. Their statistics, 3-point percentage-wise, and what I see with my eyeballs are two different things. It just doesn't seem like they miss many open looks. They don't. And they just jumped all over Michigan. And Michigan is so much bigger, they're getting layup, so they're kind of staying within shouting distance, but they're playing horrible defense. Both teams got a real butt chewing at halftime because it just didn't. Because points were way harder in the second half. You mentioned they just got cold at the end. Well, They weren't getting the looks that they were.
They got
during
one,
the course.
the one shot that they got from inside the free throw line that they missed. The other ones were 3-pointers. Yeah,
And so it was a tale of two halves stylistically, completely different. But is there a? And sometimes we do this. I might be more impressed with the one loss than any of the 20 wins.
Okay, I was going to say it.
Now they went to Champaign, right?
They're going.
They went there and won, right?
Illinois is coming to Lincoln.
No,
the next
what
game,
is their best win, Charlie?
Illinois.
Yeah,
Illinois,
okay.
Illinois.
I mean, I don't care how you win. You go to Illinois, you go to Champaign, although it was in middle of December. Yes, conference play in December 13th. But that is outstanding. The one where they were down 16 the second half against Indiana.
Yeah.
Time. But this Michigan team, is the co-favorite to win it all. The co-favorite to win it all. You go over there, you don't have one of your best players.
Yeah. And,
man, and you got a horrible call go against you when Hoiberg took the charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they leave in that building with their heads up.
So I was going to say it a different way. About 3/4 of the way through this, maybe halfway through this game, in my head I'm thinking Nebraska can win it all.
I know, because we did that list yesterday.
Nebraska can win it all because if you can go to Chrysler and play like that without your big man, you can win it all. I don't know at what point in the season you decided that Indiana could win the National Football Championship. For me, it was when they went to Oregon and won. But there was a point where, no, they're not going to win the national championship. And then when they went to Oregon, it's like, oh, wait a minute, they could.
No, that proved they were a different team.
That's what this is for Nebraska for me. Because I didn't think yesterday, me and Max, we talked about this after the show. How many teams actually can win this thing? Put Nebraska on the list. They can win the whole thing. They got to catch some breaks. It's got to work out well, but they could win it. They're good enough.
I remember what I said when he asked me if Nebraska can win it all, and what did I give him, about 15 teams?
I think we settled in at 17 total.
17,
yeah,
okay.
And it wasn't the top 17 teams in the country.
Because like Vanderbilt is one. I can't. I just don't think they can win it all. Do you know what I said with Nebraska? Yes or no?
I don't remember what you
said. No.
You're right. Yeah,
and I think I'm with you. I think last night you're not going to play a more talented team.
And you're not going to play in a more hostile environment.
You're not playing on the road in a tournament. So, yeah.
That's harder than – that should be theoretically harder than any tournament game. That is the NCAA favorite right now on the road.
My point, that's why. Yeah. And a key guy was out, man.
Yeah.
They had a bad call go against you. I mean, it was – I mean, they kind of could have – did they – can we go should have last night? Should have won, but certainly could have. But yes,
got a 3-point lead with 3 minutes to go.
My point is, I'm flipping on Nebraska.
3-point lead with 3 minutes to go. Yeah, you can definitely win.
How well coached are they? How well coached are they?
Yeah, Hoiberg has done a great job. And I didn't realize he had been there for 6 years.
Yes. No. This is not a quick fix. Not at all.
Because he was a good coach at Iowa State. He got the Bulls job. That was a flop. And then he went to Nebraska right before COVID. And, of course, COVID, puts a big roadblock in the middle of everything you're trying to do in a rebuild. And it's 6 years. It's been a very slow
Is there a more polite, more respectful guy when he does interviews and more humble? There's nobody like him.
Yeah.
This guy is so
likable.
I mean,
that's how he got his nickname, the mayor.
Is that right?
When he was in college, he got the nickname because when he was at Iowa State and he was a great player.
He's got no enemies.
Yeah, well, he got write-in votes for the mayor of Ames. Yeah, that's how he got the nickname. So yes, he's an incredibly likable person.
So, do you think if the guy, the best coach in the history of NFL, was conducted himself a little bit more like Fred Hoiberg, he'd have got in on first ballot?
Well, I got some thoughts about why he's not getting in. That didn't help any, but I don't think it's why he didn't get in.
Oh, we'll see. Good, because I do.
Okay.
Well, this guy's going out of his way to be
well, no, he does that. I can't argue that point. But I'm not.
Well, I don't think these are the same people that are voting on this.
Yeah, except I don't think it's the number one reason why. We'll talk about that when we get back.
But yeah, Nebraska's good. I mean, it just cannot can I give a shameless plug? And I'm sorry, but can you be people who play sports and gamble on sports? We remember those bad beats way longer, right? They stick. Okay.
Yeah.
This 5-team alternate line money parlay that I put together in college basketball had no business winning last night.
You caught a break?
God bless America. The neighbors were coming over to say, what is wrong? Mr. Ott, you okay? It was, how did Notre Dame pull that game out against me? Virginia pull it out? How did Michigan win against America? How did Virginia Tech cover by a half? It was unbelievable. So, those boosts, I'll say get your boosts. Well, I don't want to throw a 3-teamer. I think I can massage it a little bit more with alternate lines about the same price. So, anyway.
Hey,
good luck.
Catch one for the home team.
How do you start off 0-3 in profit 4 units?
With a parlay and a boost.
We're here at Roca Pizzeria, man. I've been coming over here a lot, Charlie, as of late. You know, I was over here after the run. that little downtown marathon or whatever they had. What was it, a couple Sundays ago?
Louisiana Marathon, yeah.
It was slammed over here. The happy hour, man, it's unbelievable happy hour. A half off all of our house cocktails. Our spritzers are really popular over here. They've got the Violet specialty drink. We see the staff over here. I mean, they are squeezing fresh fruit and making all the mixes and prepping for the busier dinner time for our signature cocktails. But they're all really good. They're all half off for our happy hour, 2 to 6 p.m. Tuesday through Friday. And you can get one of those great Neapolitan-style pizzas for half off as well. Pepperoni, margarita, just 3 or 4 pizzas that are half off, and draft beer and house wine over here. So, man, you talk about an unbelievable happy hour, but it's not just the pizza. They do so many things over here that are really, really good. So, man, the service is outstanding. And so, Ozzy, Miguel, the whole staff over here at Roca Pizzeria, man, it's not just for pizza, although the pizza is really, really good. About the chicken cutlet, that chicken cutlet po' boy on the St. Bruno's local bakery that they do it over here, that sesame seed a bun that they put it on, so kind of French bread, kind of, I guess, Italian bread. Outstanding, man. Really, really good stuff. Come on, check it out over here at Roca Pizzeria. It's not just for pizza on Government Street in Mid-City.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Show's available on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net, brought to you by Supreme Rice, supporting our Louisiana farmers since the 1930s, celebrating their 90th year anniversary here in 2026. Story broke yesterday that Bill Belichick, who has won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach and 2 more as an assistant, will not be elected on his first chance in a ballot to get in the Hall of Fame. Quick refresher, 50 voters in this room, 40 of them have to elect you for you to go in. There's a few things here. Number one, it's tough to get in as a first ballot coach. There are only 5 coaches that have ever done it. George Halas, Vince Lombardi, Tom Landry, Don Shula, Chuck Noll. That leaves off some pretty significant names in NFL history that didn't get in on their first ballot. Guys like Bill Walsh, Joe Gibbs, who both have 3 Super Bowls, Jimmy Johnson, who won 2 and was responsible for a 3rd, Bill Parcells. So it's hard to get in on your first ballot, but there is no reason, none in regards to resume that Bill Belichick should not have been a slam dunk, unanimous choice.
Best resume ever, huh?
Yeah, yes, this is the best.
Yeah, it's the best resume ever.
You can quibble about what he did without Brady. You can talk about Spygate, Deflategate, but there is no resume that is better than Bill Belichick's in the history of the National Football League. So what happened? You
saw the reports.
I did.
Okay.
The reports are that Bill Polian, who was a longtime general manager against Belichick when he was with the Colts and with the Bills, okay? So he spent his life jousting with Belichick, was that he piped up in the room And
who's this?
Bill Polian, the longtime general manager with the Bills and with the Colts. Okay, so again, this is Belichick's his chief rival. Okay, for most of the time, and there were some very good Bills teams, some very good Colts teams. That Polian piped up in the room and said he should serve a 1-year penalty because of Spygate and Deflategate.
If you believe that, I mean, maybe,
I think they got the right TT, but the wrong ta-ta. I think there was a person that was against Belichick getting in this year, but I don't necessarily think it's Bill Polian. I think it's Robert Kraft. These two have been in a really sour relationship since he left there. Kraft's team's in the Super Bowl. Kraft is on the list to get into the Hall of Fame as a contributor next week, and I would not be at all surprised if Robert Kraft said to a few people, hey, you know what, wait a year on him because next week's my week. That's my opinion only. Nobody if somebody sabotaged him in that room, I think it's a lot more likely that it was Kraft, who has plenty of influence, and Polian, who's been out of the game for a while. He's still, a broadcaster and all that, been out of the game for a while. That's just me.
But he's a heavy in the owners' meetings, Charlie. But this
he's
is
a heavy everywhere. He's a heavy everywhere. He's
with this group, with the media.
Yeah, he's got Robert Kraft. Other than he and Jerry Jones have the most influence over all things NFL. Their influence is significant.
Well, I'll say that if he conducted himself, he's also who is a bigger jerk in the history of NFL coaches to the media. Nobody's a bigger jerk.
No argument.
These are the guys. These are the guys deciding this.
Yeah. They are.
I mean, if he was, and you don't have to go all the way to the other side, but just your normal coach in handling the media, okay? Because Sean Payton could be prickly as well, okay?
And Parcells was he wasn't writing any love letters to those guys.
And Payton is a Parcells understudy,
yeah.
Okay? But no, this guy takes it to another level.
He does.
I mean, he goes out of his way to be an a-hole.
Yes.
I mean, out of his way.
Yep.
Had he conducted himself an average, he'd be in. That's my thought. I'm sorry. I mean, this is the best resume ever.
Yeah.
Now, first ballot, there's only been 5, and this is Joey Bell, man. I'm sorry.
No, I can't tell you that.
I mean, his person.
There's something to what you're saying. There's no doubt. There's people in there, but I think that there's some Kraft influence here too. How much of whatever? Yeah, maybe there's.
I think it's more. I think it's more, even with Kraft. Okay, these guys, they don't forget. Okay,
yeah.
And if you're a member of the media, you're usually not making a ton of money in these guys, and this is your power. Okay, and also, to a fault, have we seen media members let personalities interfere with what they're really supposed to be judging on and voting on?
Yes,
have we not?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you're going to take a media member who, and you got a little bit of an ego or whatever it is, if you are one of the privileged who are voted onto this committee as well.
Yeah, and there are biases in this Hall of Fame voting in all of the sports. Baseball is probably the most notorious. I mean, who didn't vote for Hank Aaron or Willie Mays or Stan Musial or Ken Griffey Jr.? I mean,
how many are first ballot?
How many what?
Baseball Hall of Fame.
Oh, a lot. But
a lot?
I'm saying,
sure?
Yeah, there's a lot of first ballot. I mean, I don't know how many it is, but it's not just 5 or 10. Those guys weren't unanimous. Hank Aaron should have been a unanimous selection into the Hall of Fame. We agree on that, okay? Willie Mays should have been they were first ballot guys, but they weren't unanimous guys. I mean, how do you vote against Willie Mays? How do you vote against Mickey Mantle or Hank Aaron or Griffey Jr.? So there's a good bit of first ballot Hall of Famers. It's what they call the inner ring. I don't know how those guys don't vote for them. I don't know how you don't vote for Parcells. So did Polian pipe up and say, hey, maybe Deflategate?
62.
62.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's way more than I thought.
Yeah. So you get, maybe a little bit of Polian, a little bit of Kraft, and a little bit of what you're talking about here, which is, hey, man, that guy was a jerk. I'm gonna just stick it to him. That's happened before in other sports. It's happened before. I'm sure in the NFL as well. Terrell Owens didn't get on the first ballot. And he's a Hall of Fame receiver.
If I'm a media member who is on this, how would you take to somebody trying to influence and bully your
I would push back hard on it.
That's right.
I would push back
that goes against your theory.
Yeah. Well, obviously, 11 guys in this room didn't vote for him for whatever reason, and it can't be resume. Unless they're just taking this Spygate and Deflategate thing to the nth level. 11 guys in this room didn't vote for him for a reason.
Most of these guys cover Super Bowls, right?
I would think all of them, yeah.
Okay. They had to deal with him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not telling you.
We know that.
Yeah.
We know that. We know he's an a-hole. We know that. Okay. You're theorizing, and we do know and I believe the reports that this came up, but I mean, that's more of a Goodell thing to me. I mean, can we set precedent to try and create, so like a deterrent for, spying? The Deflategate is a joke. That's just they're pissed about the Spygate and the defiance and his attitude.
And he was penalized for that.
So the whole thing. I mean, it really crushed Brady's career when they really looked at football. It's so stupid.
The Spygate thing was a big deal.
Spygate was way bigger.
It was a much bigger thing than Bountygate, and the penalties weren't nearly as hard.
But that was a personality thing. He was going after Peyton. We know that.
Sure.
We know that. So, but I just gotta. You know anybody, or the type that has like Heisman votes, or the type that has, this is a big time. This is quite an honor to be elevated to the guys that are in that room and voting on the Hall of Fame. I would think they take that very serious and are very proud of that. If somebody's going to try and tell me and push me around and say do something that you don't feel in.
So if
I got a problem with that.
Well, sure.
Ask Rabelais about that.
As you should. And if those guys were also asked, well, but did you vote against him because he was rude to you, because he was condescending? Jerry Tarkanian cussed you out once, okay? Have you ever said
I deserved it?
Well,
I did.
Well, probably so. But have you ever said, hey, you know what, Jerry Tarkanian was an overrated coach or whatever like that because he cussed you out one time in San Antonio?
Man, I'm a little bit different,
But because you respect Tarkanian as a coach, even if he got after you one day, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you'd have had a vote for the College Basketball Hall of Fame, wouldn't you have voted Jerry Tarkanian in?
100%.
Right. Okay. So that's the way I think about it. Is like, man, that could be rude to you. If that's the reason you're not voting for him, you probably shouldn't.
Because
vote
I know
anymore.
the selective enforcement singled him out way more than the Vitale list. Let's just put it like that. The Carolinas and Dukes and Indianas and people like that.
Well, he ain't in for some reason, and he should be. Even if you don't like him, he's
going to be.
He will be next year. Yeah.
Don't forget our friends over at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060. Full service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Our great team at Legacy Title. Ashley Donald, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Mariana Haynes, Natalie and Bradford Smith, buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Everything came in pretty good, and we survived with Jared Stidham somehow, and he wasn't as good as I thought he might be, but the game got crazy in the second half with the weather, but it was exciting Sunday for football, and now we're got to transition to other sports, but we still got one big game left.
Let's go to the biggest topic of discussion, and of course, result-based. Yes, Sean Payton would have done it differently. They didn't. They hit and convert on 4th and 1, and certainly 10 points won the game. And that was a very makeable field goal earlier in the game before the conditions soured. But what was going through your mind when that 4th and 1 up 7 it came up?
Yeah, at the time I didn't have no problem with it, but of course, then as it played out, it turned out I didn't know anything about that weather really changing like it did, and I have a feeling they probably knew about it, so. Maybe they should have, and analytics actually said that they should kick the field goal there. I don't know if it factors in the backup quarterback or what, but I was surprised to hear that as well. So maybe a spot there where he could have probably kicked and gone up 10, but I'm still kind of a go-for-it guy when you need 1 yard, so I wasn't surprised that they went for it.
In college, we remind ourselves, because some people say, well, a coaching change was made, and you say, well, man, he didn't retain this guy. And a guy was like Frank Wilson was a big topic of discussion in Baton Rouge. The Kelly staff took over on the interim basis, was the chief recruiter for the biggest jewels of this recruiting class this year, the two linemen, Lamar Brown of U High, and then Anderson from Carr, and then say wasn't retained. Well, no, when the head coach is fired, the whole staff is fired. You have to remind people that that's the case. The NFL, you get fired if you're on the staff that gets fired, Charlie, you get a head job maybe, huh?
That wasn't the way. I would ask these teams, you wanted to make a change to get over the hump. How much are you really changing? I mean, Mike McCarthy had similar questions to Mike Tomlin, which was, hey, you have good teams every year, but you can't get over the hump. Well, you're replacing one with the other. If your problems in Buffalo were with Mike Sean McDermott, how much different is Joe Brady going to run things? Because if he runs the offense the exact same way, then that's half the team. So I don't know.
It's odd that you promote from the staff that you fire.
Very much. Very much.
So anyway, Randy, I know you have some opinions on some of these hires that are going on in the NFL.
Yeah, we just saw Monken get hired by the Browns, and now they're not going to keep, Schwartz, who probably should be the head coach. So will Schwartz go to Buffalo? That would be kind of a good fit for him, I think, maybe. Help out Brady, but just some odd coaching hires. We've seen the guy from Green Bay, defensive coordinator. That was the first one that I questioned about. His last 5-6 games of the year, they couldn't stop anybody. And then he gets hired over. He could have kept the guy they had, who's a good offensive, play caller, Capri Pants, but he'll get on somewhere too. But then you see McCarthy come in, and, he's no different version than Mike Tomlin. He likes to kick field goals and punt and do the old school type stuff and, make situational bad mistakes. And I don't even know if he's the motivator that Tomlin is, so you're probably not getting an upgrade there. But, it's going to help us as bettors because, as McCarthy, when he's a favorite, he's pretty much money to bet against him if you're getting points, so that really helps as well. So, you just got to do your research, and, some of these coaches that come back are actually help us as bettors.
Well, one of those hires, and a kid that has some roots in Baton Rouge and went to Catholic High, and John Eric Sullivan, who worked with the Packers for a long time, for 23 years. Actually goes He worked for the Packers, Charlie, for about 21, 22 years before he was. He brought somebody from his staff. He brought somebody he knew, somebody that he worked with. Yeah. So, is that always the best? Your familiarity, you know what he brings to the table, but are you kind of limiting yourself because, you've only worked for one team, over that time. But anyway, he's the son of longtime wide receivers coach Jerry Sullivan. So we know about that. But when you have, Randy, so many, you have this many firings, you just wonder. And why is it the NFL that they retread? So Saleh, he was fired in the third week of the season with the Jets, and he goes, spends a year or two with San Francisco, and he's being rehired again. But I'll tell you one that we knew, and I was like, you're going to keep Dennis Allen when Mike Vrabel is out there? Are you kidding me? We're going to, but this just in, the Saints are poorly run. But then, how does Tennessee feel right now after firing Mike Vrabel and what they brought in his replacement?
Yeah, they've won 6 games since they fired Vrabel, and the Patriots won their last 6 games or something or whatever. I just heard, something crazy like that. And then you got really good assistant coaches out there like Flores. I don't know what problems he has with that lawsuit or whatever, or Spagnuolo with the Chiefs. I mean, he also could be a head coach too. That has tried to be a head coach before. That might be a good hire, and of course Schwartz as well. So just strange some of these where some of these teams go. Some of them like this young offensive-minded type people, which worked out for like Jacksonville with Lincoln and even you guys down there. Moore had a pretty good first year, so we'll see what happens in the future here. But just some strange hires out there.
There's one scenario I can make a case for a retread, and that is if they are with a lousy franchise. Okay, when Mike Shanahan was with the Raiders at the end of Al Davis, they were not a good franchise. When Belichick was with the Browns, they were not a good franchise. When Stefanski's been with the Browns, okay, Salah was with the Jets. If you come from a really bad franchise, you might be a really good coach. It's just hamstrung. I'll make that exception. But if you were with a good franchise and you didn't win, well, then that's kind of on you.
What about this run by the Patriots? We know about the regular season, the opponent's winning percentage. The Chargers came in banged up that game. They were limited. Stroud was horrendous for Houston against them, and then you play in Stidham in the conference championship game. It kind of reminds me of another run that this was all done on the road, but the '85 Patriots had to go on the road, and they just won the turnover battle against the Jets. Against the Raiders were fumbling kickoffs in that game. The Dolphins, all kinds of turnovers. Now, I don't think the Seahawks or the '85 Bears. We pretty sure of that. But what about this? Or do we give credit for? Man, they're still really, really good on defense. Where you sit? Where you sit with this Patriots run to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's been pretty impressive, with Vrabel, and, they're just beating the teams in front of them, and, they're getting some breaks, definitely. But, as far as, I heard an interview with the DVOA guy, Schatz, or whatever his name is, and he has them ranked number 4 as the worst team ever to get to the Super Bowl, so you can go with that the way you want it. But, 3 of those worst teams have won the Super Bowl, so that he had in his listing. So, and 2 of them were the Giants, 2 of the Giants teams that won it. So you can go as it was. You just got to play what's in front of you. But it's been pretty impressive. They know how to play situational football and go after a team's weakness. So we'll see if Seattle has any weaknesses for them. This is going to be their toughest test this season.
Giants are 2 of the weakest.
Damn, the Bears got there with Rex Grossman playing quarterback.
Yes, I would. Yeah, that was a weak team.
Surprisingly, he wasn't even on there.
Wow.
That team.
That was a very good defensive team. Urlacher was in his prime, and they had Devin Hester.
They were a better defensive team than those Giants teams? On with that number 56 guy?
Oh, no, not those Giants teams. I thought he was talking about the Coughlin Giants teams, and I'm not even sure the Bears' defense was better than those.
The Giants teams were the 2 Coughlins that the one that beat the Patriots, and then the other one, the Manningham catch.
Yeah, and I'm not sure the Bears were better than those.
Man,
defenses.
That
Justin Tuck and Michael Strahan. Yeah, that
Jeez.
defensive front. No,
I mean Brady. They killed Brady in those games.
I mean, Urlacher was a great player, but that defense overall wasn't better than the Giants. I didn't.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And we talk about the Hall and who deserves to be there or when they deserve to be there. It's a hot topic right now. But Eli's knocking on the door, huh?
Yeah.
Is Grossman?
No.
Okay, well, I'm just checking. I mean, I'm just checking. I mean, it's quarterback's kind of important. Huh?
Rex Grossman, probably the worst quarterback to ever start a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he's definitely right up there, top of my mind. But of course, you can go back a little ways, and you probably find a few others.
Tony Eason was not. I don't care where he was drafted. I mean, he did not exactly light it up.
And God rest his soul, David Woodley was not.
No, but he played. But he played okay that year.
But Grossman's in the conversation for sure.
Yeah. What do you what's your preparation for all these props, and give us, because they're all out now. It's not like the old days where they could come, but just a rule of thumb and maybe some guidance for some of our listening audience to just, because so many people with 25 pages of this stuff, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, kind of specialize on the props you like and the players you like. Don't go crazy. And if you like overs, you might want to bet them early and then come back with, because you might get, some of them overs you might bet might move up, maybe 5-10 yards. Then you can come back with the other way if you feel like it. I mean, the under probably has more value. And that's the way I kind of play it as well. In fact, the Westgate puts out theirs, I believe, tonight. So I'll probably be over there. I'm in Vegas right now. So going to go do my crack show here after you guys and then get ready for them tonight. But, yeah, definitely look to bet the overs ahead of time and then come back with the unders late.
All right, big dog. You see you in Vegas. You in Vegas all the way through the Super Bowl, or you hanging around?
Yeah, I'll be in between here, and then, of course, I live an hour and a half south, so I'll be in between the two and going there, and then probably heading back to Colorado a little bit afterwards.
There you go. All right. Follow Randy on Twitter at RR39. We look forward to your appearance next week. We're done on Sundays, so again, we're looking forward to you. You've been on a hell of a roll. You've got quite a few friends in this town, buddy. Believe me, okay? So we need to get you back. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, my early lean on the Super Bowl is Seattle money line probably, but I'm waiting on that, and then the under as well. I think that'll get picked up. But them are my early leans. No players yet, but thanks, guys, and good luck, everybody out there.
All right, that's Randy McKay with us each and every Wednesday at this time. Don't forget our friends at Go Chevrolet in LaPlace, Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Plaquemine. My buddies Lee Carney and Nick Richard. Don't forget that their concierge service department, you've heard my success story there. You talk about convenient. I mean, it's some people try and advertise and promote this type of thing. This is above level, unbelievable level of convenience, man. Will come to your work or business, swap the car with you, take your car in, communicate with you, tell you what you're looking at, get you approval to do the work, do the service on the vehicle, and then return it to your work or home. You talk about unbelievable service department, the concierge service department over at Go Chevrolet and Go Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Certified body shop. Mention my name, Jimmy Ott, for VIP pricing. I don't just talk about the great vehicles from Go. Chevy Tahoe came from Go Chevrolet in LaPlace.
Live at Roca Pizzeria on Government Street, live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Well. Tuscaloosa Circuit Court Judge James Roberts, six-figure donor to the University of Alabama, has recused himself from the Charles Bediako case at Alabama.
I thought he gave an injunction.
He did, and then he recused himself.
Oh, that's not recusing yourself.
From when they do the next thing, which I'm sure will be probably in April, right? After the tournament. Bediako had 14-6 last night. We're back with Scott Rabelais on the other side. Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Enjoying the finer things in life is his forte. Let's bring in Scott Rabelais from The Advocate.
We return here at Roca Pizzeria. We're happy hour here Tuesday through Friday from 2 until 6 p.m. Half off all house cocktails, draft beer, and wine. Come on over here, Government Street in Mid-City at Roca Pizzeria. Scott, good afternoon. How are you?
Well, I'm not on I'm between the bus driver of the LSU bus who slid off the road coming back from the Arkansas game and Joe Brady. So I'm somewhere in between. I'm not that bad, but I'm not that good.
Well, one real bad, one real good. All right, Scott, I got a question. You have voted for the AP Top 25 over the years. You vote for the Heisman Trophy. You are on the committee or the group or whatever that votes in Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. So I ask you, with all of this experience and maybe two or three other things I'm forgetting, how much personal biases you have seen come into the voting for these prestigious awards? And, of course, we're referencing the Belichick thing and why he didn't get in on the first ballot in the NFL. So you've been in some of these rooms. You've been part of some of these discussions. You tell me how often personal biases you think have influenced votes.
I think most voters, and certainly with the things I've seen, try to not bring personal bias. But I think it's impossible not to bring personal bias. And you know, Belichick is a great example. A lot of people didn't like him, and obviously he's a shoe-in, the Hall of Famer. They're just going to make him wait. And you know, I remember Albert Bell not getting the MVP award the year he hit 50 home runs and stole 50 bases, right? Because the baseball writers didn't like him. And obviously he was the choice, you know, that was a long time ago. But you know, that's one that always comes to mind. Yeah, I mean, everyone brings bias to these situations, and you try to divorce yourself from it. But I think it's somewhat difficult. So you know, I would have voted for Bill Belichick. You know, I might not think he's the greatest human being who ever walked the earth, but I would have voted for him. But you know, it's like sending a little bit of a message, isn't it? That's kind of it's surprising, but at the same time, not when you think that human beings are making these choices. And they all have things that they bring to the table.
You know, I would understand it if there was some kind of guidelines to go with. Okay. The NFL punished him for Spygate. They docked him a first-round pick and a fourth-round pick. The organization had to pay fines. Belichick had to pay fines. If there's something else besides that, then the NFL should let them know. I'm also not of the opinion that you don't vote for guys because, well, the first ballot is reserved for some extra level of Hall of Fameness. Either you think that player or coach is a Hall of Famer and you vote for him, or you don't. You know, either way. But you don't say, well, I'm not going to vote for him on the first time, but I'll vote for him on the second time. That's always rubbed me the wrong way. The baseball stuff especially. I love Mariano Rivera. I think he's one of the greatest players to ever put on a pair of spikes, but I don't think he's the greatest baseball player ever to play, yet he's the only unanimous vote getter on the modern ballot. So I do think these bias things. So you tell me, Jimmy and I were talking about this, how much of this is bias in the room? How much of this is based on Deflategate? And how much of this is a Bill Polian or a Robert Kraft or Robert Kraft through Bill Polian because they're friends, played into Belichick not getting into the Hall?
I'd like to take a sign in any of the latter. Look, a lot of voters have very, very long memories, right? Yeah, and so, yeah, I'm sure some of the shenanigans with the Patriots played a part. And I think, look, I would think, and based on nothing, just a personal opinion, the voters are trying to send him a little message. Yeah, we're gonna make you wait, and then he'll get in next year. You know, I think I'd put a wager on it that he would get selected next year. But it seems silly. Like I'm thinking of a case with the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame with Joe Horn. And Joe Horn, everyone thought was qualified, but there was all this the legal stuff that he was going through, and everybody said, "Let's wait." And once that gets cleared up, and it did, and now he's in, and he's fessed up to his legal issues, and he's made apologies, and he's very grateful to be a Hall of Famer now. So those things happen. Maybe Belichick issued some kind of public apology for some of the things that happened in the past, but I don't see that really happening. So I think he'll probably get it next year. But there are some people. There's an extra cachet, right, to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, right? I mean, some people just. I've heard the story about Jerry Rice's voting for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. It's like, show hands, Jerry Rice. Okay, he's in. It didn't take any debate at all.
And that's the way it should be.
That's what it should be. That's what it should be with this guy, with Bill. Quite honestly.
I've said it many times. I just like to be in the room with the guy that didn't vote for Hank Aaron or Willie Mays or Stan Musial. I can't wrap my head around that those guys. And there's more. Those are just the top names on my list that you decided not to vote for whatever reason, because I don't
Charlie,
know what that reason is.
There are crazy votes. Let's see, 844. Okay, I can't do the math in my head. 841 plus 44, 885 minus 9. I'm doing some quick math here. About 60-something voters left Joe Burrow completely off their Heisman Trophy ballot in 2019. Left him off. First, you don't have to vote him first if you don't think he's first. If you like Jalen Hurts, who got some first place votes, or Chase Young that year, or some other Trevor Lawrence, that's fine. 60-something voters left him off their ballot. Why? How could you have possibly done that? First, second, or third? I've never understood that, and he won by the biggest landslide ever. So there you go. These things come into play. But you should.
And Scott, you gotta admit, you're forced to go into that room for hours and discuss as the Hall of Fame for the Football Hall of Fame. I mean, you got guys that have no business with Heisman votes, who don't watch, but maybe some don't watch at all, and some may watch the last week of the season. Let me see who I'm going to vote for. I mean, it's not nearly the same process.
No, it's not. It's a very individualistic thing when you vote on the Heisman. You're sitting there in front of your screen, you sit with a paper ballot, and you pick your three, and you go. No, you don't hear anybody else's debate. I mean, you can consult other people, but you're sitting there alone with your thoughts. In this, you're right. It's a room full of people, and there's intense debate. Sometimes. I've never voted on the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We have intense debate sometimes with the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. It's difficult, but but you have to set your personal feelings aside about someone to say, regardless of some of the things that may have happened in Belichick's career with the Patriots, he did enough, more than enough, to get in. Virtually every coach who's won the Super Bowl, has a couple of exceptions, is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he will be. They're just making him sweat a little bit, and I think that's wrong.
I'm with you, Scott. I think this is if he conducted himself this is a Joey Bell thing. This is all about personalities. They thought it's their turn to get back at him for being a jerk. We're going to wait 1 year. We're going to let him wait for 1 year.
But because he's got enough on the resume to get two Hall of Fame.
Nobody's more established. Nobody.
You could cut his resume in half, and he's still got enough to get into the Hall. All right, Scott, LSU men's and women's basketball both coming into a softer spot in the schedule than what they began the conference seasons with. Give me your state of the state as we inch towards the halfway point of conference play.
Well, I mean, men's basketball is still, okay, that's nice. They still win a few games. Miss State at South Carolina, they lost to at home. Georgia, I think they're going to win one of these next three games based on what I've seen. I'm not expecting, much better. The LSU women, by comparison, are in the middle of a three-game home stretch. They got Arkansas tomorrow night, who's woeful. And then they have Alabama on Sunday, who's the best team. Then they go to Texas. This is the next two of the next three after that is Texas and then South Carolina here on Valentine's Day. So that's going to be quite interesting. But I think the women they're rebounding better. They're playing defense better, and they've gotten better production from Jada Richard, their point guard. The LSU men have gotten their point guard back with Dayton Thomas, and he's helped so much. There was a great line I can't remember what they were writing about. I think it's a review of an album. Would a diabetic patient be helped by a redesign of the hypodermic needle for their insulin shot? Yeah, maybe it's a little better to deliver the medication, but it's still not changing how you're treated. So I think Thomas coming back is nice, but this team still doesn't play great interior defense, and not expecting any huge turnaround from them.
Rab, we always appreciate your time. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll talk to you next week when we're getting ready for the Super Bowl.
Looking forward to that. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks. Scott Rabelais with the Advocate.
Say he's going to Super Bowl?
He usually does.
He does?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, usually
why
does.
Why do I not know that?
I'm not privy to his schedule, but usually he does.
I don't know why. It slipped my mind for some reason, Charlie. I did want to get you, when we were talking about Tony Eason and stuff like that, his run, when the Patriots kind of run.
85.
85 when they got destroyed by the Bears. They had to go on the road to play the Jets, Raiders, and the Dolphins. They had lost 18 in a row in Miami and won it. 16 turnovers, their opponents. 4 by the Jets, including a fumble recovery for a TD. 6 by Oakland, including a fumble kickoff for the game-winning recovery TD, and then 6 more in the AFC Championship game. 16 turnovers.
I had forgotten.
It's a little bit of a run of luck, huh?
Yeah, I had forgotten it was quite that fortuitous. And then you add that to the fact that they played arguably one of the 2 or 3 best teams in NFL history. And, yes, you got
And was it the opening kickoff or one of the first plays of scrimmage that Chicago fumbled?
That was the only reason that New England
They
took the
scored, right,
lead.
right.
Yeah, it wasn't a kickoff. It was a play from scrimmage. I want to say it was Walter Payton on the first or second play from scrimmage, and they fumbled, and they got the gimme. They didn't go anywhere. They got the gimme field goal, and that was it until it was 46-3, and I think they got a touchdown. They did. At the very end.
Very much garbage.
It was ugly.
Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. Our great team of bankers, David Henry, David Campbell, Hunter Creed, Nicole Glover, Heath Meir, my buddy Prentice Wilkes. Remember, your business is our business. We support the hard-working folks at United Community Bank. Come on by and see our group of bankers at United Community Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. From east, north to south, but we're heading west. It's Wes Reynolds from VSiN.
Wes, how you...
Got his bucket?
What's that?
The bucket.
Oh, the old dope. I mean, they're going to shove
Bring
this.
The bucket.
They're going to Hoosiers. We're going to get it for a long time, Charlie.
If they ever win a national championship in basketball here, we're going to give it.
What is the shelf life on these lovable losers that we can feel happy for them? Because it's wearing out their welcome quick.
August.
How you doing, Wes?
Yeah, look, we still apparently have a basketball program. We're a little bit of a basketball school. And Kurt Cignetti, not only winning a national championship and being Kurt Cignetti, but actually sits courtside for the game because they showed the trophy to the crowd, of course, in Assembly Hall. I think that's only the second basketball game he's attended since he's been IU football coach. And what do you know? They turned the season around, at least temporarily, as they knock off Purdue last night. So, very good performance for Indiana. Gets them on at least the right side of the bubble from the basketball standpoint for now. But it's been a pretty good week for Purdue and a pretty good week for Indiana. A very tough week for Purdue to see your rival win the national championship and then the sport that you now have taken control of being better than, and then you get beat down to Bloomington.
Best game of the season for the Hoosiers, huh?
Absolutely. They've been looking for that win because they've only beaten one team in the Ken Pom Top 50, and that was Washington, where they had to hit, it seemed like 23s just to beat that team. So, yeah, the Hoosiers needed it, and they got it last night. Now they got a weekend road trip, or Saturday, Tuesday, to Los Angeles and see if they can at least hit a split.
So that was a late game, but earlier, it's the 20 wins for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, but I was just impressed, if not more, with that one loss last night, going into Michigan, going underhanded, and had a tough call to go against them as well. But you also saw one of the bigger wins for Nebraska this year in Bloomington when they overcame 16-17 second half deficit. That was an early tip on a Saturday a few weeks ago. What were you impressed with mostly with that Nebraska team and their comeback there?
Yeah, that was the night after the Peach Bowl where it was an early tip in Bloomington, and you thought Indiana might be a little flat, and they weren't. It was Nebraska that was flat, and then they did overcome that. But this team's really good. They did impress me last night because you kind of thought, okay, this is a big number here, but maybe this is where Michigan, I hesitate to say turns it around because they're still one of the best teams in the country, but they haven't been as dominant or as sharp as they were earlier in the season. Like when I do my little power ratings, about 3 weeks ago, I had them maybe 4.5 better than anybody in the country. And now I would have them, I think, second or third. Like I got Duke and Arizona right there with them on the same level from a power rating standpoint. But this Nebraska team to do that last night without the freshman Frager and, of course, without the big guy, Nass, and Michigan had to survive, and it was a lower-scoring game, 75-72. Unbelievable performance. Michigan shot poorly from the 3-2, 6-26. But, these Cornhuskers, it's ironic that, they're the basketball school and Indiana's the football school now in the Big Ten. But Fred Hoiberg's got a really good team, a lot of coachable guys, and get old, stay old is what Mike Bray said years ago when he was still the head coach at University of Notre Dame. And you look at this, they got a lot of, fifth-year seniors, and they got a lot of upperclassmen on that roster, and some freshmen contribute, but it's an older team. That's the secret. It's not a mystery because all these people complaining in college football, Indiana had a lot of fifth-year or sixth-year guys at 23 years old and whatnot. Well, that's what they're doing in college basketball. That's what they've been doing the last couple of years, and they've been going to Final Fours and teams winning national championships. That's what you have to do now.
Yeah, they've been doing that. AGE, it helps you win games in college. So with that being said, Wes, I don't know how close you follow Indiana. I'm sure you're going to do it more now. But as far as their roster building, because Cignetti now is going to have a competing budget to go out and bid for some of these high-price, whatever, 5 stars or just, the high-profile future pros out there. Is he going to stay put with his coachability, his older guys, his hungrier guys that are coming from more modest backgrounds than some of these high-priced future, these 5-star types, because he's going to be tempted, but will he maintain the coachability aspect of his roster or go out and expand it with a couple of these future first-round draft picks?
Jimmy, I'd say mostly the former there, but you now have a talent pool that is a little bit more open to you as the now reigning national champion. So there's certain kids, like there's one in the backyard up there at Lawrence North High School in Indianapolis named Monshawn Sales, who's a 5-star receiver. And by the way, I think there's only 50 players maybe nationally that get 5-star rankings. And he's from right in your backyard. So, yeah, you're going to have to get in the ring and fight for him against Alabama and Ohio State and Notre Dame. So there are some fights I think he's willing to have for some 5-star guys, but I don't think the approach overall is going to change. Why change what's working for you? So it's working the portal, it's getting developmental guys, and maybe that rare guy, especially if he's in or near your backyard, you get and fight for with all these other schools. So it's going to change, but there are certainly more players in the talent pool that I think are open to say, oh, hey, Indiana, what's that meme where the guy's with his girlfriend and then he sees another girl? You've seen those pictures on Twitter. It's like, okay, and they're looking at a different school now, and maybe Indiana is that belle of the ball that at least more talent will look at them than certainly would before.
Everybody wants to be part of a winner, and everybody wants to get paid now as well. So it'll be interesting, but I just think because they're so buttoned up, because I don't think that's just, yes, he's doing it, but he's also bringing in coachability guys and, guys that have some good football IQ as well. We had this discussion the last couple of days. How many teams in college basketball are capable of winning the tournament this year?
I think right now, and I think it gets lower and lower as you get into March, but I would probably say, 10 to a dozen. Really, when I look at it, I think certainly some that we've mentioned: Arizona, Michigan, Duke, Iowa State, Illinois could be a little bit better defensively. I think Houston certainly capable. Gonzaga, you got to include Nebraska, a couple of the SEC schools, Florida, Vanderbilt. Some of these teams that are elite teams, though, need to improve that offense. Michigan State is one of them. They struggled to get out of Rutgers last night. UConn, I think, could be a little bit better offensively. Kansas the same if they could keep Peterson healthy. But there's probably, as of today, I would say like a dozen to 13, maybe a baker's dozen. And then if you get to the tournament, once we have the brackets, once we have the seeds, we're going to get like we do every year where there's realistically probably about 8 to 10 teams that could win the whole thing.
You have any Tuesday and Wednesday are the best nights of college basketball. Tonight's card is pretty good. You got anything that you're eyeing down or that you've already made a play on in the college basketball slate tonight?
Well, I did mention one team who I'm actually going to go against here. I just thought the number was a little high. I'm going to go against the Houston Cougars, back-to-back road games for these guys. And they're laying 8 right now at TCU. TCU's been a pretty good team. Remember, they tested Michigan early in November when Michigan was just rolling everybody. And, 3-4 in the Big 12. And the Big 12 is a tough conference. Like, if you go about 500, you've done something with the talent stacked in that league. And you look at Houston, yeah, they went up and down with Texas Tech, but they needed that freshman, Kingston Fleming. These freshmen that are scoring these numbers. You had Wagler have 46 with Illinois at Mackey Arena up at Purdue on Saturday. And they needed Fleming. They needed that 42 just to stay in the game, and Texas Tech got them. The rest of the guys aren't shooting the ball as well in terms of the backcourt for Texas Tech. I think they might have more talent on this team, but they're not as much of a veteran bunch. You're having 2 freshmen having to start for this team. So, like we said about IU, when you win a championship, everybody wants to be part of a winner, and Kelvin Sampson lands 2 5-star McDonald's All-Americans here, and they're very talented. So probably from a talent standpoint, they're better, but maybe not yet from a cohesion, even though they're 17-2. They're certainly not doing much wrong, but I just thought that number was a little bit high at 8.5 to lay in Fort Worth tonight.
I think Houston's game on Saturday just kind of sums it up, and it's something I observed earlier, but 2 teams that are so devoted to defending, and that's Houston and Tennessee. But we've seen them go through some scoring droughts, whether it's in the Final Four against Baylor that year for Houston, whether it's you pick your games at Tennessee where they go through your scoring droughts, minus the year when they had Dalton Connect. But they're not as good. You get it. So how many times has Kelvin Sampson had a freshman go for 40-plus points on the road, and how many times have they given up 55 points and a half, which they gave up in the first half?
I know
never and never.
Yeah, I know the answer to the second one for sure.
Yeah, never and never. I mean, so it's a kind of be careful what you ask for kind of thing. But how do you feel before we move on to the golf picks about those 2 type of, and then we saw 3 freshmen go for 40+ on Saturday, Wes.
Well, this draft, by the way, for the NBA draft is going to be one of the best in years. I mean, we're seeing DeBont, set the scoring record at BYU on Saturday. Almost brought him back against Arizona on Monday night. Darren Peterson, the kid Fleming, Boozer down at Duke. There's so many guys. So that's why it's a year if you're an NBA franchise that's struggling. Indiana Pacers, I will refer to them. My old stomping grounds. Tank. Absolutely. You don't want to win a lot of games. You want to get one of these blue chippers, I think, in the draft. But I just look at it with all these teams. Danny Hurley, I thought at UConn put it best last year. I saw an interview with him. He goes, I'm not recruiting defense. I can teach defense. I'm recruiting offense. And that's, I think, maybe a kind of a sea change in college basketball because so many of these teams like to win those grinder games, like a couple that you referred to, Jimmy. And that just doesn't work anymore. You got to make shots, and you got to make shots in crucial situations. And that's why you got to recruit that offense. And then, okay, I'll teach you Cameron Boozer down at Duke to play a little bit of defense, or I can hide your weaknesses a little bit. Just go score a bunch of big numbers for me, and that's what he's doing.
See, Charlie, you see what Wes is, I mean, in the era where everybody's eligible, the draft is better. The sport, the level of play has improved. So it's all good. Everything's right in college basketball, right?
Yeah. I'm still depressed because I'm thinking, yeah, this draft has got all of these players, and the Pelicans could get. Oh,
the Pelicans gave. Just to say, the Saints and Pelicans are poorly run.
Watch that pick be the centerpiece of the Giannis trade.
Farmers Insurance Open at Torrey Ponds at beautiful La Jolla. Who we got, Wes?
Well, I don't have to finish runner-up to Scotty Scheffler like last week, even though it was a distant runner-up because he is not in the field. So we got 10 of the top 20 in the OWGR. I started with Patrick Cantlay around 22 to 25 to 1, who's not really played here all that frequently, but played pretty well, scrambled well, number 1 last week at the American Express. He was 4th last year on this course when they had the Genesis in. By the way, 2 courses this week, the easier North course and then the South course for the first 2 rounds. Then they go to the South course, which is about the 7,800-yard beast that they'll play over the weekend. So Patrick Cantlay, Maverick McNeely, 35 to 1, did not win last year, but was runner-up on this course at the Genesis to Ludwig Gobert. So I thought he had a really good year, and he can putt on those bumpy Poa greens, which you're going to have. These are fast and they're bumpy. Like there'll be a putt going in and it'll go 5 feet by. So he's used to that here, being a California kid. Wyndham Clark, another guy that's played well in California over the years. You know, he tore up that locker room at Oakmont. That's really the only thing he did last year after the U.S. Open. But he started well, ended the season well, actually, in Bahamas at the Hero, and then the American Express T13 last week. Sam Stevens, who was runner-up here last year to Harris English, who we were fortunate to be aboard last year at 100 to 1. He is 50 to 1. He was tough end of the weather draw and still had a chance to win down the stretch. Has always played well here at Torrey Pines. Ended the calendar year last year with the 7th at the RSM in Georgia and a T6 last week at the Amex. And then I'll go with an Indiana guy on my card, Avon, Indiana's own Patrick Rogers, 63 to 1, 3rd at the Sony Open. And he's had good form here. He's finished 9th or better in 4 of his last 9 years. He is 33 years old. It seems like he's been on the tour for 20 years, but still trying to get across that finish line for that first win. And then a couple bombs here. Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, 80 to 1. Now a member of the PGA Tour. He qualified from the DP World Tour last year. Big hitting Dane off the tee, similar to the Højgaards, and got his card late in the season, and then also won in Australia at a co-sanctioned event on the DP World Tour in December. So comes in on good form. And then here's a price. I'm just taking a shot. I don't expect it to hit the board, but I'm taking a guy that was 22 to 1 in its event last year, who's always played well at Torrey Pines, but he's now 180 to 1 because his game has gone off the cliff. I'm going with Tony C now. I got him 180 to 1 at DraftKings. You could still get him at triple digits. I'm taking a chance here because he's always played well. He's been a top 10 machine here at Torrey Pines. He had the ankle surgery in the offseason. Maybe this is where he turns his game around. That's just a big number that I couldn't resist. I'm sure he misses the cut by about 4 or 5 shots, but I'm going to take a shot with Tony the Tiger here.
Top 10 Tony, the odds have dipped a little bit. Wes, do you still recommend him at 170 to 1?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's worth a flyer here. And we've seen bombs, by the way, win here over the years. Harris English was 100 to 1. Mathieu Pagone, who came from the DP World Tour, was 150 to 1. You've seen guys at long prices win here because this course, even though it's not going to be as windy and the scoring might be a little lower this year, this course is a brute, man. It's a brutal walk. It's almost 7,800 yards. A lot of these guys are going to be getting fatigued here, so you will get some surprise contenders, I think, come Sunday.
Can I ask you a question about last week in this kid, Blades Brown, who graduated from high school, 6 months ago, and had to travel from wherever he did for the Corn Ferry Tour, goes in there, he shoots 60 on, I think it was day 2, and put himself in position, and still finished with a top 20, got a 6-figure payday on this. You ever heard of this guy?
He had played, Charlie, a couple events last year, but, on sponsor exemption. So he wasn't, of course, playing college golf like Nick Dunlap when he won this a couple of years ago as an amateur. But, man, was the youngest medalist at the U.S. Amateur, by the way, at age 16, broke Bobby Jones's record there. He's a kid from Nashville. So a lot of young guys, man, a lot of young talent out there in the game. So keep an eye on that college scene and that amateur scene because that was impressive. And, yeah, this was a birdie fest, so is he ready to do that every single week on a PGA Tour? Probably not. Certainly showed a lot of great pedigree last week.
Bobby Jones I've heard of.
Yes. And, Charlie, I'll give you a $20 ticket on top 10 to a phony. Give it to you if you can spell Rasmus Niergaard Peterson.
I'm going to concede.
I'm safe, Wes.
I'm
safe. Wes, thank you, buddy. Good luck to you, man. We appreciate it.
You bet, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Rasmus, R-A-S-M-U-S. Okay, that's not bad. Peterson, but Niergaard. Try.
Niergaard? N-E-A. Okay.
N-E-E-R.
Okay.
G-A-A-R-D.
Nope, that would have taken me a minute.
E-E-A-A.
Nope. Not even
digress.
close.
Total
Not
Maintenance,
close.
one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC heating companies since 1980. AC heating, generator installations, maintenance, service today, every day. Yes, indeed. Guarantees you'll get same-day service. You call today, you get service today. We're factory-authorized dealers for Carrier, American Standard, Dakin, and Rheem products. And our buddy Lucas Ragusa, he has been in this industry for a long, long time, 30-plus years. And the great thing is he's worked at every level, from technician to the office to this to owner, and he knows what it takes to put together a great team. They service both New Orleans and Baton Rouge, but they have separate offices and separate groups that don't compromise either of them. And right now, as we talked about a lot, if your unit was serviced over the summer, if it is over 10 years old, if it is close to being a replacement, now's the time to do it, because we do need to clear some inventory. We're giving up to $5,500 off on these units right now if you want to replace them. Call us up at 480-1000, 480-1000, and we'll come out and let you know exactly what you're looking at and explain all of your options for you. But if you are contemplating replacing that AC unit at your house, now's the time to give my friends a call at Total Maintenance, 480-1000.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Our Wednesday consensus golf picks are brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown.
All right, you heard Wes Reynolds. Here's Max's picks for us. He's got Jason Day at 33-1, Sam Stevens at 49-1, Rasmus Hogard at 55-1.
Spell it.
Hojgard.
Just missed.
These Rasmus guys, man, they
just missed.
If you have a hard last name to spell, you name your kid Rasmus.
Okay. I didn't make it to the third letter. It's already wrong.
Adam Scott, Charlie.
I can do that one. I can get that.
60-1. Pearson Cootie, 60-1. Pearson spelled P-I-E-R-S-E-S-O-N.
I before you, except after C.
Jordan Smith at 125-1. And Sam Valimaki. Sam Valimaki is a ladder by Max. He's got Valimaki outright at a bomb number, 250-1. But he also has him top 10 and top 20. So the ladder, outright, top 10, top 20. Valimaki ladder.
Got it.
It's easy to remember.
Yeah.
Valimaki ladder.
Valimaki.
V-A-L-I-M-A-K-I.
Okay, at least it's spelled like it sounds.
Yes,
okay.
yes. Our consensus, one of them, the standard pick, is Sam Stevens. Sam Stevens, both Wes and Max have them. 49-1 is the longest odds on Sam Stevens, and that is available down the street at our friends at both Bally's and the Queen. Bally's and the Queen, DraftKings outlet, both do a wonderful job, very customer related, and both are great places. I think I might sportsbook hop this weekend.
Okay.
On college basketball Saturday, huh? Do a little Queen, do a little Bally's, huh?
That doesn't sound bad.
Doesn't sound bad?
Doesn't sound bad at all.
The weather going to cooperate? Okay.
Well, it's going to be cold now.
Well, that's why you need to get inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even more reason. No, it's going to be very cold. Very cold. Yeah, do one more golf story before we move on from that. This is Brooks Koepka's return to the PGA Tour. Guess who else is coming back from LIV?
I don't know.
Patrick Reed.
Is he really?
Not this week, but he announced his plans to leave LIV Golf and return later in the season. He's going to be back on the tour August the 25th. I guess that completes his contract. And that will make a year since he's competed in LIV, so he can go back and play in all the FedEx Cup events, and he could be considered as a player on the for the President's Cup as well. So another player coming back from Liv. Brooks Koepka. Say yesterday, well, you don't hear Koepka talk like this, right? He's a little bit nervous about going back after my time in Liv.
What?
And I don't think he meant about the golf. I think he meant about the reception from the players and all that stuff.
From the players.
Yeah.
Because we saw the fans. I mean, remember when the Liv players were playing in some of those majors, like in Boston and New York, and they thought they were going to get, really some root. Not really.
That's the way I took it was, hey, man, the business model here took a.
I mean, you can't have it both ways. No. Yeah, he's going to get a cold shoulder treatment.
But tell me this,
from some more than others.
As much as we hate Liv, didn't it force the PGA Tour to do some things that benefited the players, the elevated purses?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, if I can understand the animosity, but hey, look, it helped you a little bit.
The
Maybe more than a little
one
bit.
that got me was I couldn't believe that these golfers had to pay for their own accommodations. Yeah. Now they get like sponsors give them like a car to use while they're there and things like that. But I just that surprised me.
You know what? I'll give you a good book to read if you're interested in breaking into the PGA Tour. It's a book called Blood, Sweat, and Tears. It's about a guy named Rich Beam who was on the tour. Actually won a major, but he talked about how he had to finance himself getting on the tour. And if you're interested in how the sausage is made, it's a pretty good book.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about, this guy won so much money playing his family. He's one of 150 guys in a tournament. I mean,
he actually went to a bunch of the guys at the country club and got him to sponsor him. They paid him
a
salary, and you know.
Yeah, I know the story. Our Golf Consensus Bricks brought to you each and every Thursday by our friends at Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown. The attorneys at the law offices of O.C. Brown are skilled in several practice areas, including personal injury, DUI, DWI, estate planning. Our great team of attorneys, Dana, Susan Brown, Chris Perrette, David Connican. I've used the entire staff,
the whole
Charlie.
staff. Yeah.
Yes. Have you?
Pretty much, yeah.
How about Miss Patty? She's been there longer than all of them.
She's a sweetheart.
She knows. She knows where the bodies are buried. Just for lack of a better slogan. Anyway, you get it. It's a comfort level. It's a familiarity level, and in every area of law, no matter what your need is, because both Charlie and I have used Dana's team of attorneys, a specialized team of attorneys, for different reasons at different stages of our lives. My buddy downtown, Dana Brown, a law firm for a lifetime for me, for Charlie, and hopefully you. We have never hesitated to recommend them to any of our friends in similar situations as well. Take advantage of that free initial consultation, 343-1111 at ocbrown.com.
Live at Roca, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Roca Pizzeria on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Thibodeau Store, the Pierre Part Store, now in La Rose and Lockport. Your home improvement specialist, so those jobs that maybe you can do yourself with just a little bit of guidance, let them take care of you at the Thibodeau Store and the Pierre Part Store. They'll save you some time. They'll save you some money. You won't be buying equipment that you don't need or supplies you don't need. You won't be wasting time with techniques that don't work. Power tools, hand tools, lots of supplies. The Thibodeau Store, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodeau. The Pierre Part Store, Highway 70 in Pierre Part. And online, all four properties at thethibodeaustore.com. 4 games in the SEC tonight. Jimmy, LSU a 7.5-point favorite over Mississippi State. It's in the midst of a 5-game losing streak, and only one of those games has been particularly close. Tigers a 7.5-point choice at the PMAC tonight. Probably the closest game, well, definitely the closest game as far as point spread goes. Georgia hosting Tennessee tonight. The Vols a 1.5-point road.
That should be fun.
Favorite.
I want to see how Tennessee follows up their best win of the season, or not their best conference win of the season at Alabama. Their best win is neutral against Houston earlier in Las Vegas, because I think the second leading scoring team, that they play fast tempo. It's not something that we've seen Mike White do either at Ruston or Gainesville in his previous stops, but that's, the best coaches adapt to their roster, and that's what he has, man. He's got 11 guys that play, and so he's playing this super fast, high tempo, fastest playing team of 365 in the country. And they are fun to watch. So that one's going to be a lot of fun in Athens, man.
Georgia coming off of back-to-back road games. Missouri slowed them down but lost anyway. And then they got thumped at Texas on Saturday. So we'll see.
Woof. I'm on the dogs.
Yeah. Texas is at Auburn. Speaking of Texas, they are at Auburn tonight.
Trying to figure them out.
I don't know if I trust the coach yet. Auburn, I'm talking about.
Well, he's got one to overcome. Is this the most unlikely win of the season? Auburn going to Gainesville and beating them? And not just beating them, but beating them, but right around 9, 10, 11?
9.
Yeah.
Right up there. They've won back-to-back road games. They also won at Ole Miss before that.
Yes.
So they're playing
remember
well.
That was when I had Ole Miss, and they were really never in it. So Auburn kind of coming around.
You know what? And now that I look back at it, they lost their opening 2 games in conference play.
Remember the A&M game?
Yeah, very close. They lost at Bob Bucket. They lost at Texas.
Yeah, but that's when
Georgia
they scored
by
37 points in 6 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit of bad luck. Maybe I should be giving them more credit. And
no, but Pearl, it looked like a big downgrade. Keep in mind, he only has one player back from last year, Tahad Pettiford. So this would have been a challenge for Bruce Pearl too. But he's not his dad. But I mean, we're going to give credit when teams start to improve this time of the year. It's a sign of good coaching, and you got to give Auburn credit. That was not a fluke what happened in Gainesville.
They look better, and they're a 6.5-point choice against Texas tonight. And Florida goes to South Carolina, 13.5-point favorite for the road team, the Gators there.
That's a lot of points on the road.
I think so, too.
But bounce back, they may be a little unhappy, but that's a lot. That's a lot of points.
Florida, South Carolina coming off that road game where they got thumped at
Texas. And as far as LSU is concerned, I mean, I don't care what they're favored. There's no gimme wins. I mean, what were they favored by against South Carolina earlier in the year?
About the same, 7.5 or 8. This is a game that I think they've got a pretty good chance to win. If I'm looking at the rest of the schedule, this is probably their most likely.
This is going to be the one they're favored by the most
because they got to go to South Carolina, and this will be their best. This or Oklahoma, which is also at home. Their best chances for a win.
Jan's, he's
been a rough go for them.
It's been a rough year, but he's made 4 straight years. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. 2 straight years to the NCAA tournament.
Stay tuned for Hunt on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.